Oh my gosh, look, you're all there. I'm 2 minutes late. It's 8 o'clock. 8:02. Awesome. How is it? Sheila's in the house. Hey, Eric. Hey, Teresa, Derek, Kelly, Eric. How is everybody? What is going on? How many of you? Oh my gosh. There's a bunch of you already here. That's like crazy. Oh my God. There's like, we just started and there's 30 of you. That's crazy, crazy. Crazy, crazy. Well, hi, Jeff. Hey, Jay Marshall, Ricardo. Hello, hello. Clay, hello. Well, I almost didn't make it tonight because I was on a plane. And now I'm not on a plane, so I'm here. I was flying from St. Paul, Minnesota, but I am here, and let's chat and talk about homelessness. Hey, Kesha. Hi, Don. Kelly, hello, hello. Mama's hand, hey. Ann Smith, hello. Matthew, hello. It's a party. It is. Every Sunday night that I can make it anyways. So for those of you new here, we do this Sunday night little party family style. It's just us talking about homelessness or anything else. We started, I think, I got to go back and find the exact date. I started producing shows, and you guys just wanted to chat. So we're just hanging out and chatting. Hey, Terry. Hi, Sean. B-Roan. Hello. Avery. Hello. Valerie. Hello. Hey, Geoffrey. Lisa. And please, guys, if I mispronounce a handle, I'm... I'm one of I spell neighbor Nabor. So, I mean, a lot of you got really cool names and spellings and, and I might mispronounce something. I apologize ahead of time. Scott, I am so sorry. Hello, hello, Clay. So what do you guys want to chat about tonight? I don't know if I'm going to make it the full hour. It's a travel day. I got off a plane and ran here because it's Sunday night and we all hang out on Sunday night. And I'm grateful that you guys like to hang out on Sunday night. I also got some interesting news and really, I mean, this coronavirus, we got to take it serious, but there's no reason to panic. Preparation is important. And I learned, I got a call, actually while I was at the Detroit airport, that they're locking down my mom's nursing home for 14 days. And I can't even visit. And, they talk about, there's been some news clips about homelessness and the virus. Every time I read one, I think about nursing homes because elderly, their immune systems are not as strong, just homeless people, that's the same thing. And so I got to, I'm a little bit concerned. I'll find out more tomorrow. Being a weekend, not all the staff is there. But it's a strange time we live in, And hey, Vicky, hello, hello. Yeah, Kelly, that's important, washing hands often, and that's one of the reasons why with the homeless community who can't wash their hands, and you can't even buy hand sanitizer now. It's, you go to any of the stores. It's and same like my mom. My mom's half paralyzed in an arm. I know they take really good care of her, but my mom can't go to a bathroom or a sink to wash her own hands. A lot of elderly are like that. Kesha, I am so sorry. And so here's the thing: is I'm not going to panic. It's just a precaution the nursing home is having. Kind of a little freaked out because I'm not going to be able to see mom before I leave to Austin. And then when I leave to Austin, I'm gone, and then I'm back for like a blip, and then I'm off to Baltimore. Charlie's in the house. Natalie, I can't go get my mother. They have quarantined the nursing home. I can't even visit. And that's what, and again, I'm not going to go into, feed into any of the paranoia. Like I said, we have to take the coronavirus or any virus serious. I saw a report today that, one person from the U.S. died of coronavirus and 12,000 people have died from the flu. So it's just a really weird time right now, and that they call me and say, hey, we're locking down the floor and you can't visit for 14 days, makes you start thinking about it, it really gets your attention. And plus with flying, hey, Matilla, is Mattia, Madia, I think. Hello. Gosh, in Italy, it's got to be scary right now. And, with flying, I got to be honest, when people are coughing around you, and it is just interesting. But, I ate out of dumpsters for a year, okay? And I didn't get sick, right? When I was homeless, I was not brushing my teeth, which is, now I have a periodontal disease. When I was wasted on drugs, I wasn't worried about washing my hands. And I'm eating out of dumpsters, right? Jumping. Anybody that's dumpster dive, the good stuff's at the bottom. You got to jump in. You've got to jump in and forget the smells and the yucky visuals and just dumpster dive down to the bottom, right? I never got sick. Never once got sick. So I'll get on an airplane, or I'll see people not touching, doing the Howard Hughes thing. For any of you that are young, Howard Hughes was like one of the first gazillionaires, and he was really paranoid about germs, and he wouldn't touch stuff. And I see people doing the Howard Hughes things, or doing and like I'll sit in an airplane, and the person next to me will wipe down the everything. And as soon as you touch your phone, or as soon as you touch your laptop, or whatever you just wiped down is now germ filled again, right? And so I know better than to get paranoid. I really do. And but again, when you we have to take it serious, because it is serious. We should not panic. But then when, the nursing home calls and says they're locking down my mom for 14 days, well, the whole floor, you start thinking about it. So I would love to visit Italy someday. You know what? I tweeted out about my mom, and a bunch of people started sharing back all this conspiracy stuff. You know that it's man-made and all that. You know, stop, come on. You know, yeah. I mean, for-profit prisons, man-made. The war on drugs, man-made. Coronavirus, come on. Derek, you've never dumpster dive? Oh my gosh. You gotta, I'll tell you a story. So, and this is before I was homeless. One of my first jobs, I worked maintenance at the Broome County Veterans Memorial Arena. It has another name now, but concerts and hockey, and they actually paid you below minimum wage. And how they did that is you didn't, because it was a county job at the time, you didn't have to pay Social Security tax or pay into Social Security. So somehow it evened out. I think I made like $2.84 an hour. And it was an interesting job. Like the rock concerts or whatever, we did the floor, because we'd have to change it over from ZZ Top over to hockey. But the girls all did the seats, and that's where you find wallets and marijuana and pills and jewelry. And the girls would never let us up there because that's, their gold mine. Another interesting story, too, and I haven't talked about this in a long time, is, we're basically maintenance, janitors, right? And before a conference, and this is before a conference, before a concert, and this is back years ago, right, when Leonard Skinner was around and concerts were $6, right, and the open container and different things. It was a whole different world back then. But we used to do this thing with the police, because the police would confiscate if you had a case of beer and you were in line. The police would take it from you, right? So they would give it to us, and we would put it in the garbage cans, and they're clean garbage cans. And then later the police would come around and we'd split it up, right? The police would take a bunch of the beer, and we in maintenance would keep a bunch of the beer. I haven't thought about this in a long time. A lot of interesting concerts that I probably like. Johnny Cash. I would have never paid to see Johnny Cash, but because I was working, and you got to wait until the music's over before you go and move the floor to get the ice for the hockey. I saw Johnny Cash and Gordon Lightfoot and a bunch of concerts I never, ever, ever, ever would have paid for. But where I'm going at is the one manager. His name was Rocky, spoke broken English, and he had me do my first dumpster diving. And there was something shiny at the bottom, and these are big industrial outside of an arena dumpsters. And I forget what he used to call me. He used to drive. I think it was Tarzan or something, right? And he used to just drive me. It was like my first job. I'm making $2.84 an hour. I'm partying. I'm playing in rock bands, and here's Rocky. Forcing me to basically. He's my boss, forcing me to get down, and it was like there was coffee grains. This is a true story. My first dumpster, I dumpster dived when I was homeless, but this was my first dumpster. I think I was 18, right? And he literally held onto my legs, and he was like, "Get that silver thing, get that." And I think it was a coffee maker or something. And he ended up not even having me fish it out. So basically, I jumped in, got all dirty with all these coffee grinds or anything out. But my favorite story, since we're talking about Broome County Veterans Memorial Arena, so have you guys ever been to a hockey game, right? Well, in between periods, they have to move the net, so the Zamboni, which is a giant machine that, makes the ice good to skate on again, right? And it's my first time working maintenance at the hockey. Nowadays, everything, they have an electric magnet underneath, and they just flip a switch and you can move the net. But back then, we had to go out with a wrench, and we would take this boiling water and a wrench, and we would go out and we would soften up the ice, and we would wrench it, and then we would move the net and then bring it back, right? And interesting enough, my hair was long like this, right? It's the two times in my life I've had long hair like this, and it was back when I worked at the arena, and now. So this is my first time going out, and it was the Broome County Whalers, which was our farm team, and you have to put on the jacket, to go out, and like an idiot, and this is a really dumb thing to do. So I should say I'm not an idiot, but I do some idiot stuff, and this was one of the big ones. So I'm laughing just thinking about it. I was wearing cowboy boots. I didn't know better, right? I just didn't know better. So the period goes, the hockey players go into the pen or whatever you call the cage, and I'm going out with my buckets of water and the wrench, and I get in the middle, and whoop, I fall right on my ass, right? The ice, the cowboy boots, my legs just flip up, right? And there's all these people in the stands. It was pretty embarrassing, right? So then I got to get up. I got to go get more water. I got to go out and do it again. So about 4 or 5 years later, I was applying for a job at it was like a nursing home. It was a home for developmentally disabled children. And I was applying for a cook job or dishwasher job. I ended up being a cook, but it was a dishwasher job. And I'm in the guy's office, and he's like, "You look really familiar." And then he goes, "You're the guy that fell on the ice at the arena." He goes, "That was so great. We're eating our hot dogs, and so." Anyways, that's my story. Did you enjoy that story? Flashback down memory lane. Hey, Steve Bell, hello. Slots so fun, Charlie says. Kelly's talking about Johnny Cash. It was an amazing concert. I'm so glad. Gordon Lightfoot, Harry Chapin, Cat in the Cradle and the Silver Moon. It was really, really good, and I never would have got it myself. I'm trying to. Let me see if I can set something up here. Hold on one second. Click on that, and then I gotta get the mute. Mute. Derek, that made me laugh. Derek says, loves the story, but he's not going to go dumpster diving. I don't know if you remember Jocelyn, who I've interviewed several times, and uh, she had when I first met Jocelyn, somebody had, because that's how she survived, was dumpster diving, and she had a cart, um, kind of like one of those grocery carts. It's not like a flat cart, but it's up like this, and you can carry stuff, but more industrial. Not it's a good street cart. And when I first met her, she was upset. She was, because somebody stole her cart. And so, if any of you know me, if I can help somebody, and then I do it. So I asked her how much, and she told me. I pulled out my money and gave her not only that much, but a little extra. And she went, and I saw her the next day, and she had the cart. You can give cash to homeless people. But what really, really, my memory of Jocelyn when it comes to dumpster diving is Jocelyn had a golf club and not a driver. I mean, is it a wood? I mean, I forget which is the driver. Like, you got putters and you have drivers. I think drivers are the wood. A big wood thing, and she called it Bertha. And so she would chain her cart after somebody stole it to the dumpster, and then she would be in the dumpster with Bertha, this golf club. And if you were going to come up and try to take her stuff or her cart or mess with her, you was going to meet Bertha. Jocelyn was serious. Taryn, that is true in many sense. Is it really illegal to dumpster? I could see some communities making it illegal. Mattia, I know you're in Rome, and am I saying it right? It's either Mattia or Mattia. Please forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. That's really interesting. Basically, you're saying in Italy there's much better social services. Are there homeless people? Or I know often in Europe it's a lot of gypsies. Eddie's in the house. I had a dream I saw you last. Oh, I did see you last night. So I was speaking at Walter. I adore Walter. Oh my gosh, I adore you all. Walter just shows up from time to time. He's a formerly homeless friend of mine, and I don't see him all like I see Charlie and Eddie and everybody else. So I get excited when I see Walter. Walter! So I was in I flew to St. Paul to open a free store. It's not a thrift store. It's a free store for homeless people. And the woman that's running it, a really nice woman, but very assertive. She's also Italian. And she wouldn't leave me alone. Oh, she would not. She said she had a dream that I was going to be the grand opening. and I just with my mom and my mom's dog, and I'm trying to build up IP and other stuff going on. I couldn't do it, and I literally, after a bunch of back and forth, I told her no. I said no, I can't. I can't fly to St. I want to, I just can't. So then she said, well, then we'll put it off until you can. I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is never going to leave me alone. And I mean that in a good way, right? Because I believe in saying yes. If somebody asks me to speak, or somebody asks me to move chairs or whatever, I say yes. I believe in giving permission and saying yes whenever possible. I've just recently been maxed out. There's a couple of things I had to stop doing in my life. I had to take a vacation from, basically, because I was overloading. So I just said no. I said no. But it was really a wonderful experience. It's funny that, not funny, but interesting to me. Or I think it's wonderful. We all say it's funny or it's interesting. It's because it was, I don't know, Addie, what was there, 20, 30 people there? And there was just, there's an intimacy. I mean, St. Paul is not a small town, so I can't say it was the small town vibe, but it was an old church, and it was wonderful. They had leftover food from a funeral. You can't make this stuff up, right, Addie? I mean, I got to see Addie. Another friend, Kevin, who lives in St. Paul, him and his wife came to visit. It ended up being a really good experience. They made me a gift basket. This morning they picked me up to take me to the airport. They had a present for my mom, which now I can't give to my mom for some time, but it was really good. It was good seeing Addie. And then Addie took you can't make this stuff up. Addie took, I think, a garbage bag full of hygiene kits and all kinds of stuff to give to people as she went back on public transportation. It's really, really cool. Oh gosh, I can't remember which one was the second one. It really matters to me. I want to be able to say names right, and especially different cultures. You have different ways of pronunciation. It's important to me. I at least try. Hey Eric, so how long have you been in Japan? Hey, Untold Story. I'm Hungarian, so I think that's part half gypsy too, right? It was good. TD. It was good. It was good people. And as I just said, I got to see Addie and a couple others. Yeah, I too have traveled, and I have been in Geneva. I was in Malaga, and a lot of cities in the UK, and those are the European ones. And Chris, thank you very much. Oh my gosh, you are so kind. You are so kind. And homelessness is different. I've been in Sudan, Africa. Poverty and homelessness is so much different. Eric, yeah, I've heard India is extremely heartbreaking, and I would go if there was a way. Most of my travel, all of my travel overseas, I can't afford to travel overseas. I'll tell you the first. So this is how this all happened, how it all evolved. I was just started Invisible People. I was working a minimum wage job at a homeless shelter, and I get this email. I get this email saying, "Would you like to come speak in Lima, Peru?" They said, "We can't pay you, but we can send you on an expense paid uh, vacation, few days up to Machu Picchu." So, like I said earlier, I'm just, yeah, sure. But when I hit reply and said yes, I didn't think it was going to happen. Come on, who sends, and I was nobody back then. I'm nobody now. I was really nobody back then. So I said, I said, sure, I'll go. And sure enough, the plane tickets can. So then I had a dilemma because my work was, uh, you don't get vacation time so they could have fired me. They didn't, but I took the time off. It was like, well, you don't get a chance to go to Peru very often. So I ended up going, got on a plane, met a bunch of wonderful people. It was a priest, actually, who was uh, working for internet equality. It was really an amazing experience. Really, 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 really an amazing experience. So that has just happened. I once a year, I think one year there was 2 years that I got an international gig where somebody contacted me and said, "Would you come speak? We'll pay for your travel." Because I can't afford it, and it's not really something that's I think we did a lot of stuff in the UK, which fits into Invisible People, and that was paid for by other people. But the like to go to Geneva, Switzerland, I keynoted the Geneva Forum of Social Change. So that's why I was in Geneva. And in Malaga, Spain, they brought me in. I forget what it was, but it was a really neat event. And again, so, what's really different about international speaking, international conferences, here, if you go to a YouTube or a social media conference, it's all about monetization. How do you make money? How do you make money? How do you make money? When you go to like the Geneva Forum of Social Change or the event I spoke at in Malaga, it's about how do you empower poor people to have a voice, which is just amazing. It's totally brilliant. Okay, where are we at? Okay, we got about another 15, 20 minutes. Oh, art, singing, cinema, and painting. Malaga was a wonderful place. I'm not big on tapas, though. I got to tell you. So another thing, when you travel when you travel and speak internationally, you hang out with the other speakers. Like I will be in Baltimore speaking at an event, and I may or may not see the other speakers. I just show up. where when it's international, they bring you together and they feed you together and everything else. So we had tapas. Oh my gosh, every day. I was dying for a sandwich. So Patrice, that's kind of what we were talking about. There was a wonderful person from Italy that brought up the differences in European countries. I remember once speaking to, I don't know if it was UCLA or USC, but I was speaking to a room full of college students. And I've learned since then that you got to canvass the room, meaning you ask people where they're from and what their experience is. And somebody asked, "Is there homelessness in Europe?" And I said, no. And a girl from Germany stood up and she says, "Yes, there is. We just hide it better." And I haven't been to Germany. I know some stories of France. I've traveled pretty extensively in the UK. European countries are very much, they have healthcare. Healthcare is the big thing. Canada has better healthcare, but you really see the difference in the UK. Where in the UK, you don't see the people in wheelchairs and crutches like you do here. You still see them. I was once in the UK. If you search through the social media, there's somebody that was actually really famous. I won't mention their name because they actually passed away. Well, he was the husband of somebody really famous. And they helped me buy this woman a wheelchair in the UK, which was interesting for me because I didn't know how to go about finding a medical supply place. In the US, it's a little easier, but we were able to get her a wheelchair. Their social housing, they're much more conscious of helping people. If you go into third world countries like Sudan, and I've been to Southern Sudan twice as a TV producer, it is homelessness, but I believe it's completely different because the people in Southern Sudan didn't really know that they were homeless. They didn't know they were in poverty. They didn't, they haven't seen brick buildings and Netflix and Twitter and all this other stuff. In fact, a couple of them that have been to a university in other countries said they wanted that stuff. And what was interesting to me is, if you look at their culture, they would have an occasional fight over a cow. And, everybody's happy. There's lack of food, lack of, disease, not lack of disease, lots of disease. And it's just a different kind of poverty. So David asked, should I give cash to homelessness? Great question. I wish it would come up more. The answer is it depends. So homeless services, they say no. Give them the money. I say it depends. First off, safety. If you gotta feel safe. If you don't feel safe, don't open your wallet or your purse or bring out cash from your pocket. And I'm not just talking homelessness now. We live in a world where you go to work at Coors Brewery or Walmart or a church or a synagogue or colleges and elementary schools, and there's shootings and there's guns and it's dangerous. So you got to be safe everywhere. So I'm not just saying homelessness, but you need to be safe. And if you feel safe and somebody is asking for cash and you want to give them cash, give them cash. There's only, food stamps. There's an old joke. I hate food stamps because they stick to the roof of my you know, food stamps don't buy diapers, don't buy tampons, don't buy cold medicine. I had a homeless friend. I told this story last night. He was standing in front of a drugstore. He had a sign, needed a toothbrush. And people kept on laying food at his feet. Nobody would give him the money just to go buy a toothbrush. And so it depends. You know, you could be like me, carry socks with you everywhere you go. Underwear is number one. And but people are, for obvious reasons, but people are all different sizes. So it's hard to carry underwear where you can carry socks and give to everybody. So that is, but it really just depends. If you go to invisiblepeople.tv and you go to the search, there is a post we did on giving money to homeless people is okay. Karen, I'm sorry you're still having nightmares. Okay, where are we? We're going to go for another 10 minutes, folks. Almost make the full hour. I had a long day of travel. I'm tired. But it's Sunday night and we chat and I hooked it up. I really do. And it's Melka who doesn't, she sometimes comments after. Melka really talked me into doing this every week. And here I do it every week. Taryn, I like Pittsburgh too. Pittsburgh has there's Dr. Jim O'Connell in Boston and Dr. Jim Withers, both Dr. Jims. There's a link in the description to the documentary about me, and we went out on the streets in Pittsburgh with Dr. Withers. And I've got to get back to do. Dr. Withers does house calls to homeless people. Really an amazing guy. Okay, folks, we went 45 minutes. I'm fading here. I want to thank you all for a marvelous. Oh, I forgot to ask. How did you guys like Theo's video? You did see Theo's video, right? You all watched Theo's video? How do you like the new produced mini docs that we're doing? I meant to ask that earlier. Glad I remembered. I hate. Thank you. Thank you, Kesha. David, I don't know about a year from now. Thank you, Clay. We're going to be, the next one is Suitcase Joe. Hopefully we'll have it up any day now. Hey, Tex, thanks. You like the new produced style. We're still going to do the style. In fact, if Derek, you're still on, Connie's video is rocking. People are loving Connie's video. Yeah, it's all you Oakland folks. They just like you Oakland folks. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Addie. I wish there wasn't such a delay on this chat, because I'll ask a question and then it takes you guys a while for the video and everything. But that's understandable. Hey, EM, thank you so much. Well, Connie had such a, she was just so calm. She's just so engaging the way she talked. I mean, I sat there for a half an hour and I didn't have the right settings and the sun kept going dark and, you know. Hey, Jill, the purpose of this channel is to educate the public on homelessness. People always ask, well, what are you doing? Did you help them? I spend every waking moment working to help homeless people. It's to get you guys, the viewers, to take action to help homeless people. That's one. Two, there's people that get value and self-worth from being asked their story. And there's actually housing programs that have started. I mean, over the years, there's been miracle after miracle that has happened. This is just one thing we do. We also do journalism and advocacy. We're now doing mini docs, and we have a place for young adults to learn about homelessness. But this channel is a primary program of ours, reaching. We hit 8 million people in the last 30 days, thanks to all of you, which is just amazing. Hey, Lynn, thanks so much. And thank you for just joining. You caught us at the tail end. I'm just about ready to log off. The point of each one of these videos in some way is to motivate the viewer to do a few things. One, to change their paradigm on homelessness. Two, to take some action to help other people. And three, to educate their network about it. And four, hopefully scream real loud about the lack of affordable housing and contact their legislators. Okay, folks, I am going to say good night. We will see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time, 8 o'clock. I think the world of you. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. I don't ask that a whole lot. Most YouTubers, they come up, hi, hit that bell. And you know what? If we're producing content you guys like, you're gonna want more of it, and you already know, hit the bell. We have Suitcase Joe, which we'll post sometime this week, which is another mini doc similar to Theo, but this is a street photographer in Skid Row, and it is really awesome. And I am going to say good night to all of you, and I will see you next week.